This is the Canon R6. I've been using this pretty much exclusively for a year now. So in this video, I'm going to do a 1 year review and give you guys my thoughts. If you're new here, my name is Rich McKeever. I'm a commercial and advertising photographer living and working here in London. I've worked with many great brands that include Nike, Gymshark, Adidas, Puma, Reebok, Speedo, and many more. And on this channel, I try and share behind the scenes videos and practical reviews of kit. So if that's something that you're into, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get on with it. If you're watching this video and you're anything like me, you might be looking to jump from the Canon DSLR system, something like the 5D Mark IV that we're filming on here, to something in their mirrorless range, like the R6. Now, for some reason, I was really apprehensive about making that jump. Not only are the lens attachments different, but also you're going from DSLR to mirrorless, which is a whole new system. In actuality, when it came to shooting and editing photos on the mirrorless system, practically there's no difference at all. I purchased the R6 at the start of summer 2021. We were just coming out of lockdown here in the UK, and I was getting a load of wedding bookings. I started taking on weddings just to fill up my diary. It's not something that I normally shoot, but I felt like I needed two very reliable, strong cameras. So what were my options? My options were perhaps buy a second-hand DSLR or finally begin to make that jump to the mirrorless system. I had just been speaking to a friend of mine, a really good wedding photographer called Nigel John. I'll link his Instagram here, so make sure you go check that out. His work is brilliant, and he was just telling me how he had upgraded to the Canon R6. So he shoots on 2 Canon R6s, and he was telling me how incredible they are, and in particular how incredible one feature is, which was the focus tracking, the eye focus tracking. For me, I shoot a lot of sports and fast moving subjects, whether that's in studio or on location, and with the Canon DSLR system and with any DSLR system, I would often have to either compromise the amount of shots I was taking by presetting my focus point and getting the subject to run through it, or I would kind of compromise on composition a little bit by using the back button AF servo feature, but I would have to have the subject in the set square where the focus was. So I had to track them, and I couldn't really allow them to flow through the frame whilst constantly tracking them like I can on the Canon R6. What I've done on the Canon R6 is I've set back button focus, I use AF servo with face tracking, and that means that pretty much every frame is in focus. With the back button focus, I can shoot incredible GIFs like I did for this Gymshark Together campaign, where we were shooting in between video, and for stills I had a matter of minutes to jump in between takes to get the shot. It was a long day for the talent, video was a priority, and within 2 takes I was able to get the shot just by holding down the back button focus and firing off as many frames as I can. Now that might sound a bit like spray and pray mentality, but it really helped me get out of a sticky situation there, and it really helped the day flow much smoother and much easier. Ergonomically, we're very similar. We've got a couple of extra wheels here. So what is great is that I can control both my f-stop, my ISO, and my shutter speed all just with my right hand here. We've got the introduction of this wheel on the back here, and I have that set to ISO, and then we've got the wheel for f-stop, or you can, if you're using like a Metabones attachment, you can have that set to f-stop, and then we've got shutter speed here. So it's really easy to quickly make adjustments on the go. My second favorite feature on the mirrorless system, which is something that might seem so obvious to so many of you, but that is the introduction to my world of having an electronic viewfinder. Now, there are occasions when I need to shoot on the R6 and the 5D Mark IV at the same time, and not having and going from having an electronic viewfinder to not having an electronic viewfinder on the 5D Mark IV is an absolute nightmare. I remember when I was shooting on the 5D Mark IV and I was on a job at Gymshark, and they've got an in-house video team, and I was chatting to the guys about it because they were all shooting on Sony at the time, so they all had electronic viewfinders and they kind of grew up with electronic viewfinders, and they were like, well, how do you know if something's going to be too bright or too dark? Which seemed mind-blowing to me at the time, that there was a generation who had never used like a DSLR system. And I just said, well, I just use the light meter on the viewfinder and take a shot, check if it's light or dark, and adjust accordingly. And now I see what a process that is. When I'm shooting with an electronic viewfinder, just being able to adjust my shutter speed and see the difference in exposure instantly, or adjust my ISO or adjust my f-stop and see the difference in exposure immediately, is such a game changer. If you shoot events or weddings or anything that needs you to react really quickly, you can be mid-shot. You can be going from indoors to outdoors, and you can adjust your settings there and then without taking the camera away from your face. You can almost be shooting pictures at the same time and adjusting at the same time, and those few seconds can really help you capture the super important moments that you wouldn't have even realized that you're missing. If jumping from DSLR to mirrorless is something that you've been considering, let me know in the comments what your apprehensions might be, why you did it, why you haven't done it. I'd love to have a little conversation down there in the comments. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you on the next one.